That's yours.
Oh, I'm the. Oh, are we live? There we go. So sorry, guys. We were having a few issues.
We had a little
spillage.
accident.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are all good. Sunday night Strongman Live with Claus,
Star.
Auntie Liz, and the one and only world's strongest man, Mitch Hooper.
In the most famous Strongman recording studio.
Yes, and this is a privileged seat because the only other person who is sat there is Rauno.
Has Andrea not been there as well?
Oh, we've done a live with Andrea, but we didn't. Our Wi-Fi was down. Do you remember? We did it at my mum's.
Oh yeah, I remember.
So there you go.
So it is just Mitch and Rauno. Wow.
Yes, this is a privileged position.
I wonder if Rauno will join us.
He will.
He usually does. Eh?
He does.
He usually does.
Yes.
Heckles us in the comments.
Flipping Mama, how are you doing? Hello to the lovelies. I'm so happy to see you all. We're happy to see you.
To be here. I'm set back a little. I've got my phone so I can keep an eye on comments.
Nice to see me commentating. Thank you very much.
Hey?
You're not always this little.
No, I know. I look so smart.
making-
I need to be further back from the camera because I'm a wreck today. I haven't done my hair, my makeup, nothing.
Do you want like a filter on the camera?
Yeah, can we somehow drop a filter on?
So, Mitch, I'm going to have to warn you. You've got to be careful of knocking the table. Liz does have a go at me.
I won't have a go at
too
him.
much.
It's only
You like
you.
that?
Yeah.
Because I'm...
Yeah.
It's
You
no
don't
good.
like those?
All right.
It's no good for the people watching.
Oh, very good point. Congrats on the baby, Mitch.
Yes.
How were you going to announce that? What was the plan originally?
The original plan was announced at the wedding in September. And then that original plan went to shit when I can't keep my mouth shut because I'm too excited about it.
You're like a child having to get things out, aren't you? You just got to tell everyone.
Got to get it off
Yeah,
your chest.
well, yeah, in a way, but it just depends. For me, I always say I'm a great person to confide in because what you confide in me, I probably don't care enough to share with anyone anyway. But once it passes that barometer of interest, it's very hard for me not.
He's
to
the worst
get it out
person
there.
to tell.
Yeah, so it just depends how interesting it is. But yeah, that's I mean, if you know strongman, you know that that's quite an accomplishment to be able to do it while you're still competing at a high level. So very lucky
We did it,
to be able to do that.
We did.
Yeah, you know, a couple of strong swimmer pairs of bollocks.
You've lowered the tone already. We haven't
have
even got
indeed.
to a question yet.
So a couple of things that keep coming up very quickly we should probably address. Yes, Gav Bilton unfortunately pulled out of the competition yesterday. He has a family emergency to deal with. We don't know too much information, but we wish Gav and his family the absolute best. I'm sure he'll be back, but family obviously comes first. So unfortunately couldn't compete yesterday, but yeah, wish Gav the best and hope everything's okay, buddy. Right. Firstly, I think we should kind of talk about yesterday. Yes, that's why people are here. They want to see the world's strongest man, and obviously we had the Strongman Classic yesterday, and it started off well for Mr. Hooper. Didn't finish so well, but it was regardless of your result, it was a really good competition. I had a great time there. Always enjoyed the Royal Albert Hall. I think the three big names were the three big names that most people were talking about in Evan, Mitch, and Tom Stoltman. Really good to see Tom looking focused, and Evan was awesome. You know, his consistency through the whole competition. There wasn't a bad performance from him. His stone performance at the end was really, really good. Awesome to see him doing well. But the one other guy that really impressed me was Eddie Williams. Eddie Williams really surprised me. His world record on the nickel stones.
Have you ever seen anything like it? If you haven't watched it already, you have to, after the live, don't leave the live, but you have to go and watch it because it was almost funny the way like he staggered so many meters after the second pickup. I've never seen anyone move very far after the second pickup.
He just kind of like absolutely.
I had
two shopping bags.
Style.
Just kind of,
Like
I was up on the stage when it was happening watching. I had a camera on me reacting to it, and there's going to be some good footage to come from that at some stage.
I'm sure that
because I'm looking over at the other guy saying, what is going on? Because the second pickup, he got a good distance, but he looked like he fell straight away. He just fell at like 5 or 6 meters. How on earth is that happening?
Yeah. Are you checking comments on your phone because there's member comments on the
Okay, yeah. So the first member comment then is from Brian, and he says that he's missed us. There you go. Very important comment. Thank you, Brian. We have missed you too. Lots of our members here, though. Let's give a few of them a shout out. Monica, Hip Flipping Mama, Rocker, Nolan, Steady State. There's more members than there is non-members at this point. Rick, modding the chat. Thank you so much, Rick. Oh, Mitch is taking a very important selfie of himself.
No, just put it on my Instagram.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, get my people as well.
Callum, congratulations, Mitch and Ashley, with your announcement at the Royal Albert Hall.
Ashley's here as well, by the way. So
Say
you know,
hi,
if anyone has questions, they can ask Ashley as well.
We just couldn't fit around the table, if we're honest. Out Nicola's here. Congratulations on the baby, Mitch. Everyone's very excited. What have we got then? Other member comments. We'll see you guys in Texas in October for the seminar. There you go. You had a seminar today, didn't you?
We did our seminar today. It went really well. Hopefully everyone that was there enjoyed it. Had some lovely feedback from the people that came. But we've got a few more planned this year. Head over to Mitch's Instagram. There is a link it's on your website, I guess.
It's all in my link tree.
Yeah.
All in my link tree, which is the link in my bio. And look, if you guys, it's really just an economics thing. It's sort of the same reason why people will say, why don't I do stuff in Canada? It's just because I can't. There's not the interest there. And so if you want seminars to continue, you want us to keep doing them, head over there, go ahead and sign up. We got one in Glasgow as well. And hopefully we can get good turnouts. And if we do, then we'll keep
do more.
If we had big turnouts, we'd do the Mitch and Law's World Tour.
Who wants the Mitch and Law's World Tour?
Yeah, it just depends if you guys want it. Yeah.
No, it was competition yesterday was really good. The lineup, I think, you look at the athletes sort of mid-table in that competition. It really was a world's strongest man final, and
in terms of standard, it was.
Yeah,
it was really good.
I want to know everyone's kind of thoughts about the competition that we're watching. Obviously, a few people watching online. A lot of people came to watch the show live. Let us know what you thought of it, guys.
So we've got a member comment from Callum saying that he can't stay long. Any advice on getting faster on yoke? He's chosen his moment.
Mitch, this is a good one for you. I think you're pretty good at the yoke.
Yeah, well, we were saying today, and we actually go over the yoke at our seminar, all of our tips. But I would say number one issue, if you're trying to go fast with the weight you can manage, is if you get ahead of yourself, you're always going to lose. My thought on yoke has never been to be fast. It's been to be smooth. And if you can be smooth and smoothly accelerate, you'd be very, very fast. So I would stick with that mentality. But in the end, for both Laws and I, it's something that came supernatural. And I think we've both had to sort of reverse engineer why are we good at it. I think probably the most valuable tip today is you want to be moving from your hip, not from your knee. As in, when you have the plant leg, you want the plant leg to be straight.
So Mitch gave this cue today, and one of the guys, bless him, he kind of walked like he was on stilts the whole time.
You can bend your knee when you're pulling your knee through. Just on the ground, your knee should be straight. Yeah. So the way I think of it is my quads are the first thing to tie around yoke because their entire effort is going to keeping my leg completely straight. You look at someone and you contrast my technique with someone like Tom who struggled in the past, and you can see Tom is so strong that he actually does have his knee bent. He's almost doing like little like 1/8 lunges all the way along, which is going to fall out at a certain stage if the yoke gets very heavy. Yeah. So that would be my two pieces of advice.
We've got a question from Duncan. What happened on the stones, Mitch?
Good question.
Yes.
Well, there was issues with some guys with the tacky and what kind of tacky and all that. And that to me, that wasn't the issue for me. I think as guys were going, the stone was getting sort of pulled apart a bit. And the thing with tacky and how good tacky is getting, I was talking to Steve Slater about this, is that the tacky will actually start to pull chunks of the stone off. And that's what happened to me. So I messed up the second stone and I have to clean that up, which is why I don't believe that this issue cost me the win. I believe this issue cost me second place. But the reason I was looking at my hands and I was showing my hands to people is because you could see bits of rock in my hands. And if you've ever done stones before, you know if you have rock on your hand, it's impossible. It's just not going to happen. That being said, I need to take responsibility for not touching stones since Worlds, for being on a CrossFit tour. It's not the most focused prep. I've also messaged Dave Osland, and him and I are going to hop on a call about what tacky to use, and I'll be a little bit more tactical, a little bit more intelligent about that as well.
Bashing the table because it's shaking from the
So I'm gonna meet up with Dave Osland, and hopefully, if he gets back to me, and be a little bit smarter about tacky moving forward. This time it was the bits of stone. but that's certainly an area where I want to keep improving because it shows up in every comp.
It was a very similar thing that happened to Novikov at Europe's, but it's something that I guess you newer athletes just aren't used to, because we've kind of got such good, well-made stones now that when it's not perfect and the tacky doesn't stick perfectly to it, it's kind of just something you're not used to. But it's one of those things you go away and work at. And from my point of view with Mitch, it was kind of, there was a little bit of disappointment in you afterwards.
You should be disappointed,
and rightly so. And for me as a coach, but also just as a strongman fan, it's exciting because I loved seeing Tom Stoltman fired up yesterday, and I love seeing Mitch Hooper fired up, and I love seeing Evan Singleton fired up because we get that battle between them, and we get the best out of them. And Mitch has been super busy. He's not been training as hard as he maybe should. No, that's the wrong word. He's been doing the right thing for him at the moment. But seeing someone, even if it's just a little bit upset, it's lit that fire in him that I'm not going to let that happen again. And you're already thinking about how you won't let that happen again. You're getting, talking to probably one of the best, most intelligent guys in the world when it comes to tacky, in terms of Dave Osland. I swear by his stuff. It's awesome, especially in those hot conditions where you're in an indoor arena.
It's so sweaty.
It's so hot, even though the temperature outside might not be hot. In the arena is so hot, and it's humid as well. And for the people that were at the Royal Albert Hall yesterday, they can all testify with how damn hot it was in there. Luke Saltman, ask that man how hot it was.
He didn't stop dripping, did he?
Just to round out the thought, though, it's 100% a part of the sport, and this stuff just happens. And I put no fault on Giants Live, and my disappointment was more in letting it slip away the way that it did. But yeah, I mean, for a lot of people were talking about if I won Worlds, how interested I would be long term. And I think the feeling of coming third and how unacceptable I believe that to be for myself now is like, it's kind of showing me that
you still want to do it. You still got that hunger.
And when I say winning's not that important to me, it's not that important in the context of life. But if I turn up to a show, I've flown across the world to win a competition, and I've trained to win a competition. Maybe not in this circumstance.
Mitch wants to win at everything he does.
Yeah, and it's a challenge because I know if I was training very hard, I would have got a few more reps on the Viking press. My stones would have been better. It would have been no issue. And then it's the push and pull of, okay, well, do you make the most of being the world's strongest man and having the title, or do you try and win every competition you go to? And unfortunately, those can't be the same thing.
Someone pointed out that, if you look at the last few winners of Worlds, all of them have done quite. And poorly is the wrong. No, someone else did before you did.
How dare
Martins Lissis, I think, was really struggling in his first comp. It was Wembley he did after World's Strongest Man. He ended up third, but he was in. Yeah, Tom Stoltman ended up fifth
in his first competition, which was actually the Strongman Classic.
Novikov, fourth. Mitch Hooper's just come third after winning Worlds. You got to remember when they win that World's Strongest Man title, there's so much kind of press to do. There's other
one exception to the rule.
Zydrunas.
No, Thor.
Okay.
But if it can't be confused, with complacency, because I think if there's an event to test you on how much you want to continue winning, it's the Nickel Stones or Denny Stones. And I broke the world record bar Eddie Williams' incredible performance. Yeah. So I think if that's not showing people, and what's just important to me is I showed up as the world's strongest man and showed what I could do in many facets. Maybe not at 100% full capacity, but certainly nothing that I'm embarrassed of.
There's certainly no need to be embarrassed by, how many athletes out there would love to just be top 3 in a Giants Live. It's an amazing achievement.
And 10 points clear of fourth. Missing the podium was not even close.
The top 3 were well ahead of everyone else. Trey, to be fair to him, Trey really pulled himself back into that
he had a bad start, but we knew he probably would with those events. Like, Trey's a decent yoker, but he'd move the same speed with an extra 100 kilos on it.
The only major surprise for me was how good Eddie Williams was. Yeah. That was the big shock.
No one put him in their top 5.
No, Evan was awesome. We kind of expected it, but he really held himself together as well.
Yeah.
He performed. Yeah. Tom looked incredible, to be honest. I think the thing we all accepted was these aren't the best set of events for Tom.
Yeah.
And he still went
out still half a point away.
And his stone run was unbelievable.
And I think Eddie's sort of putting himself, I said this to him, it's almost like he's shifting himself with performances from the singing strongman sideshow to a legit 100%. Not a legit strongman, because he always was, but certainly a very, very competitive strongman.
Yeah, you can see that progress.
Let's get through some super chats then. Heidi Farrington.
Hey,
Thank
Heidi.
you so much for the super chat. Still sad I only got to yell at and wave at Liz. Was that you, Heidi? Right to the right-hand side of the stage. I'm so sorry. I usually do the meet and greets with Loz, but Alexa was so tired. Like, she had had the longest day and I just had to take her back. It's not the most like, the way they do it at the Royal Albert Hall is quite different to all the others as well, where it's like right up there and you have to make a real conscious effort to go up there, because normally it's just sort of amongst the stage area, isn't it? So I just didn't see anyone last night. But yes, next time, Heidi, I promise. But you did get to hang out with these two guys in the pub the night before, didn't you?
She did.
I'm sure that made up. And then David, thank you so much for the super chat. Wanted to say awesome to see you, Mitch, on the yoke, and congrats to you and Ashley for the future mini moose.
Yeah, I was saying it's very validating for the yoke because, again, it's something where training hasn't been where it should be, but it's always really nice to have those events. And now we're talking the yoke is one that when I see it, I'm very happy. And deadlift now, when I see it, I'm getting very happy because now I've won the last 4 of 5 yoke deadlift events. So I need to do the same thing with stones now, and that's probably what I'm more concerned about. But that was very validating, and hopefully we can take a hiatus on the challenges. I do hope to see Evan and Dirk shaving their heads. I want to see video evidence, and yeah, that was good.
Phil Croft loves seeing the moose loose about our hoose. Tom's stone run was crazy, says WHW. It really was.
Yeah.
It's so impressive, Tom on the stones. Like Mitch on the yoke. Some people are just so talented.
I think if you look at some of the results yesterday, like Tom Stones, Eddie's nickel stones, Mitch's yoke, Trey's Viking press was
really
extremely good.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of good performance. So you made, was it 7 reps on the deadlift? Looked pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
And the record on that is 8.
Yeah. It's been an interesting little bit. Guys, banker events they've lost. Yeah. With Alexi in the dumbbell, with Kevin in the stones, with who was it? It was end of last year, or maybe early this year, where someone lost a banker event. You guys might have to help me out.
Who is it? Sorry. What are you saying?
Someone lost a banker. One of their obvious wins.
Well, we at the Arnolds we had Luke Stoltman and Pavlo.
Yes.
Both. In fact, Luke
it was Pavlo. Pavlo didn't win the deadlift.
Yes, of course, Pavlo Nikolich.
But it just shows that anything can happen. Yeah. You know, in strongman competitions.
Wide Pavlo looked like medium wide Pavlo.
He's still pretty big, but he certainly wasn't as big as.
Maybe we're getting numb to him.
Yeah, we're just used to him now. Yeah. He showed me something massive.
It'd be good to see him back competing in the next few comps.
We've got a super chat from Stephen. Thank you so much. Going to the Shaw Classic. Hope to meet the World's Strongest Man 2023 to infinity and beyond. And congrats to T-Rex. Yeah.
Indeed.
At the Shaw Classic, we're going to have a booth with all the merch. So I will definitely be making myself available there. Anyone who wants to say hello, I will be more than happy to say hello.
Geordie says, Mitch, will you be back at the Classic next year?
It's likely, very likely. That venue is just so cool. That's my favorite show of the year in terms of the environment, the atmosphere. But it's all push and pull. I think naturally as people go through their careers, I don't think we've seen when Alexi won World's Strongest Man. Did he compete 7 times the next year? Just off the top of your head, do you have the inclination that he did?
I think it was difficult for him because it was during COVID. So
right. I mean, put it this way: I came 3rd yesterday, and most of the chatter is about how poorly I did. And when you're held to that standard,
it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but when you're held to that standard, it certainly makes you think twice if you're going to show up somewhere where you're not confident that you're going to have a good shot at winning. To be honest, I think I had a shot at winning yesterday, and I don't regret showing up. But also, sometimes it's not worthwhile to get all of the backlash for not being as good as you could have been, but you balance that with wanting to be out there for the fans, and I'd love to be 100%. So the short answer is if I can be 100% or close to.
Honestly, I think the fact that you turn up and you give you 100%, regardless of what shape you're in, you weren't in bad shape. Let's be honest. It was 100% for that day. You did the best you could, and I think 99.9% of the fans appreciate that. If we have fans that are criticizing athletes for doing that, then are they really fans? I think most of us we love seeing these guys compete and giving the entertainment that they do and the effort that they put their bodies through. It's a risk every time they step on stage. So I certainly appreciate watching them.
Super chat from El Prez Cat. Thank you, El Prez. Mitch, it's going to Brian's and taking all the tacky.
All the tacky.
Yeah, I genuinely, I'm going to speak to Dave Oslin, and whatever I have to buy, I'll buy. We've got a better setup at our place to make sure that I don't train stones with tacky at my gym, but maybe I'll train stones with tacky at our house if I can find a good spot. I've got stones in my garage lined up from 30 kilos all the way up to 220 kilos. So I'm more than able to train them now. And I'm so uncomfortable with not being good at something that it's going to nag at me. And if I don't have stones in every program for the rest of the year, I'm going to sort of go, what's the deal?
Pretty sure you had stones in your last program, but
no, I don't think I did because I was on a CrossFit tour.
Yeah, that's true. The last program we kept very simple because you literally spent the last month on on the road.
Yeah, I was 3 weeks CrossFit. I actually think yesterday I could have run a 5K. Okay. Yeah. My fitness is so much better than it was a couple of months ago. But I was on the road for 3 weeks, home for 2 days, and then off to London to compete. So.
Pam says, looks like Tom and Mitch got a fire to win. Going to be a good year. Yes. They all want to win. That's the great thing with Strongman is they all want to win and they want to push each other.
Guys, give a shout out to Chris Scott. Say hi, Chris.
How you doing, Chris Scott? Hope you're having a good Sunday evening.
And say hi to Chris Scott's little baby.
Hi, Chris Scott's little baby.
Jane is a member's comment saying it was so great to meet you again last night, Mitch. There you go. Jane is a big supporter of the fan.
Genre,
there you go.
She's a big supporter of the fan.
A big fan of the supporter. Jane knows what I'm trying to say.
She was wearing
been a long day.
She was wearing my King Crab shirt last night.
Oh, shit. Brilliant. I haven't actually seen those yet. I need to see them.
Someone says they're a little bit disappointed with Pavlo. I'm not sure why. Pavlo didn't compete. Is that why you're disappointed?
No, Kordiaka performance.
Oh, Kordiaka, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Pavlo Kordiaka. He was.
It wasn't a huge shock to us. And I know a lot of people think that's strange, but he's.
I had him in fifth.
He's been competing in a lot of competitions recently. He's probably just feeling a bit drained. He's got a lot going on mentally. There's so much going on. Europe's, we were like bigging him up because the events were perfect for him. And I say this so often, and I always put myself in that bracket of athlete that with the right events, I was really good. With wrong events, I'm more average. To separate yourself from that pack and be one of the greats, you've got to be good at everything. When you can turn up to any show with any events, that's when you kind of go down as one of the best. And that's what someone like Mitch is doing. Someone like Brian Shaw was very good at. Zydrunas Savickas, Mariusz Pudzianowski, Thor, those kind of guys. If you want to be in that bracket of athlete, you can't have a weakness. And Pavlo, as good as he is, still has weaknesses, events that aren't so good. And
he was unlucky on the stones as well. That second stone, oh my God, we were all screaming like Pavlo because it's like rolling down the steps towards him.
But at that stage, if you just think of him and his performances, he did substantially better on the nickel stones than he did in Scotland last year. So there was that. The Viking press, he tied the previous world record.
Yep.
So how upset could you be about that?
Yeah.
And then
deadlift is always hard for him.
The thing about the challenging thing with deadlifting suits, you guys can watch this yourselves as well. The tighter you put the suit on, the more it helps you on rep 1, but the harder it is to get into position, and the more it makes your head feel like it's going to explode. Yeah. So say myself, when I go into a deadlift for reps right now, whether it was the one at Worlds or this one here, I don't have to crank my suit as tight as I can go, so I'm not that uncomfortable and fairly reliable how I'll perform. If you struggle on the deadlift, you're going to start cranking the suit more and more, meaning you're going to have a hard time getting to the bar. You're going to be super uncomfortable. And I think that's where you can sort of run into issues. And I think he's run into that issue a couple of times.
It took him ages to get down to the bar. And he was like dangling off a yoke with Pavlo Nekonechny out back. Is it the metal suits, the orange ones? Yeah. He's like scrapped to do it. It looks so painful.
We've seen Alexi trying to get into it. And I've seen Alexi struggling for ages to get in position.
Yeah.
For him, once he gets in position, he's okay. Right. But
Yeah.
I panic in a suit, like especially when I've tried one of those suits, put down and it was just constricting me, and I hate them. Yeah. So it is tough. And like Mitch says, unless you've got that natural raw deadlifting power, you're kind of struggling.
Members comment from Ronan. Congrats, Mitch, on keeping the podium streak alive. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing to remember.
Did you do this super chat, Lizzie, from Will Spence? Let me just check.
I don't think I'm that far down yet. I'm still getting through members' comments. Yeah, I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, that was interesting. Point 02. It was funny. I gave Liz a test in the car.
That was between second and third. That was between second and third.
No. Because if they flipped, they would have flipped overall.
Oh yeah. No, yeah.
I was talking with who was we were talking about how would Alexi have done in this comp, and we're going through the events talking about yoke.
Maybe we got between
and she said,
Evan and Tom.
she said, "Oh, he would have been slower than Evan, but faster than Tom."
He said 0.01.
Bless you.
Some athletes, as on the Busport World Strongest Man, sure it's legit, but price is getting too big for this. But the thing is, though, if you actually look at the yoke results, the slowest guy was 30 seconds, the fastest was 9 seconds. That's actually a really good spread. Yeah. I don't really know what they could do differently other than laser timers or something like laser gates at the end to measure.
I think when 2 athletes are close on time, it's not such an issue. It's when 8 athletes are all within like a second of each other.
And it's not a conversation between the athletes either, really.
No, they don't even think it's an issue for the fans more than the athletes. It seems to be, doesn't it?
But if you look at the times on the yokes yesterday, they were quite spread. You know, it wasn't like everyone was within 2 seconds of each other.
Yeah, I mean, it was tight at 11, 12, 13 seconds. But at Giants Live, do you want to be folding people with 500-kilo yokes and having people decline invitations?
You can't because of the pace of the show.
Yeah. I think that's something that a lot of fans don't appreciate is how fast-paced the Giants Live shows are and how much that affects the athletes.
Yeah, when we went from, what did we do before deadlift? Yoke.
You did the yoke, and then literally they had to go down and the Royal Albert Hall is quite a maze backstage.
It takes a while to get to the warm-up.
They literally got their suits on, maybe did 1 or 2 warm-up reps, and then we're back out to do.
Yeah, by the time I got out to the warm-up area, didn't have my suit on. I got to the bar. I said, "What's on the bar?" 260 kilos, and we're up in 10 minutes. Right. Okay. Into it.
Yeah. No time at all.
Yeah.
Looks like Tom and Mitch go. So you did Will Spence already, didn't you?
Yeah.
Where are we? Does Mitch think he could have done 8 or 9 reps with the deadlift? Looked like there was more in the tank if needed. Asked Mark Sheridan.
Yeah, I could have done 9 if I had to. There's something very powerful about having a number in your head, though. In the moment, 7 felt like a very strong effort. But if I had 8 or 9 in my head, then I definitely could have done it on reflection when you look at the video. But it's sometimes when you have something where you know what you have to do, you don't really have a whole lot of ambition to do more than that.
We've got a members comment from Michael French saying, Mitch, if you're not busy August 5th, come to, what's GIMLI? Gimli? What's that?
Gimli is Magnussen's qualifier, I believe.
Oh, okay.
In Canada.
If I'm not busy.
You're not busy. Fly to Iceland. You bum.
Let's see. This is just, you guys can get context for my life at the moment. I have no idea what's happening on August 5th. And I'm at the CrossFit Games. I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. So.
He's a busy man.
Sorry, man.
Yeah. Super chat from Tom Marshall. Thank you, Tom. It was nice to see Big Pavlo helping athletes last night. This was the best Giants Live I have ever been to. That's really nice feedback from the team.
It was a very, very friendly bunch of athletes yesterday. It was quite a nice group.
Big Pavlo's like the nice strongman now.
He's
once feared.
They all get on, and I think all the athletes understand how hard this sport is.
It was so funny in the VIP. Pavlo Kodiaka was getting interviewed, and it was a bit of a strange interview, but anyway, Colin was asking about Alexi and how Alexi's doing, and Pavlo was sort of like, "Oh, he's fine. It's surgery and he's training." And Colin goes, "You're friends with him, right? You're both Ukrainian. You're friends." He goes, "Yeah, I'm friends with Alexi, friends with Pavlo. I don't want him to fight me." I think I'm the only one who understood what you're saying.
That is funny. No one wants to fight with Pablo.
No, absolutely not.
We had a super chat from Laura, but it says message retracted. Laura, if you want to type it out again, I will keep an eye out.
Laura, we hope you enjoyed the show yesterday. Thank you for the super chat. I hope you're doing well.
Alprez Cat, thank you for the super chat. Lars, how would you train Mitch for a sumo event? You wouldn't. Sumo event.
Well, I'm not a sumo coach, so it's not my expertise. If he had sumo in a contest, we'd probably find someone that knows about sumo.
Is he talking about sumo deadlift or
sumo wrestling? I'm hoping you mean sumo wrestling. I saw you sumo deadlift with Greg Doucette, and that was terrible. So
the thing is, I look at the old school strongman events where it was head to head and it was pole push and wrestling each other. And I'm so strong on dissociating lifting weights from being aggressive. I'm not sure what I would do if they came out, even at Worlds. If they came out at Worlds,
could you imagine Evan, you and Evan?
I'll tell you what. Like, it's not that I don't want to. It is that I don't want to do it, but it's not that I can't get to the cycle place. It's that I really don't like going there.
Yeah.
And so in football, when I played it growing up, I broke 5 or 6 kids' collarbones because they're just savage. When I went to university, I broke the lockers in the guest locker room because I had a bad day at practice.
Were you a bad loser when you were a kid?
No. It wasn't losing. I didn't mind if I lost. It was just like if you went to a different school than me, you played on a different team, and I could break your finger, like, sweet, I'll do it.
Sworn enemies.
And it's just, that's not a healthy place for me to go. And it's not what I want people to see as the sport.
Sure.
Genuinely, I think if they said we're doing a sumo wrestle, you got to knock each other out of a ring, and it's World's Strongest Man heats, there's a chance that I would go, on principle, I'm going to sit it out and I'm going to put my best effort in the other 5 events. I just don't think it's not a sport.
It's not an event.
Don't do man on
it's
man
not an event I want to
anymore.
see
They
in
did used to,
strongman.
but yeah,
We've seen a lot in the
for a long
past.
time.
I've done wrestling in a competition before. I've seen a few other man against man events.
I think 2004 might have been the
a lot
last
of the
time
time
we saw
it's
it at
very
Worlds.
dangerous, and you put 2 big, strong guys that don't actually know what they're doing on those type of things. That's when it becomes even more dangerous.
We
did hot flipping mama's message because she's posted it in capitals.
Go on then, because you're quite
great to see you and Terry commentating again. You two make a great team. Sound was off though, bad equipment.
Yeah,
I've heard there's been a few issues
sound
with the sound. That's unfortunate. A few people have said they want to hear more of me and Terry, which is great to hear, because they are just short little bits that we do in between. But just keep giving Giants Live feedback, and I'm sure they will listen.
They do listen. They're good at listening. Some things take longer to implement. Some things they can't do for whatever reason, but they do listen. Thomas, thank you so much for becoming a channel member.
Look at this one.
We've got Neil Pickup in the comments. He's still trying to cool down.
You lads got the same hairstyle. Good job on last night, Mitch. I'm still trying to cool down. It was so hot there last night. Good job though, Neil. Neil has an amazing voice for the intros and stuff like that. It just gets everyone hyped. Ready for
I saw one person say though, on certain names it sounds like Neil's falling down a hole.
I've seen that.
I love that.
Andy Blow.
Yeah. So good.
I love it. Now I imagine he is, and it just makes me smile every time.
Neil, for those that don't know, the greatest British arm wrestler of all time. And if you're into arm wrestling, make sure you go and check out his channel.
Liz, have you and Mitch had a thumb war yet?
Yeah, I think you have, haven't you?
Have we?
I don't know.
No, I don't think we have.
That's
that's something that needs to happen.
I just said how man-on-man aggression is not something that I'm into.
Yeah, but I'm not a man, so that's fine.
That's true. Man-on-woman aggression, I'm a bit
Even
ambivalent.
worse.
Look who's in the comments.
Is it Rauno?
No.
Bonnie.
Oh, Bonnie! This morning Alexa woke up. Can we FaceTime Bonnie? Because I said if you miss her, you can FaceTime her. Lovely to have you with us, Bonnie. I will get down there. Loz gets ahead of me.
Do you know, I love this. We're seeing like comments saying, great comp, Mitch, but so happy for Evan. And that's what it's all about. We don't have to be one or the other. It's fine to support the athletes.
We were thrilled for Evan because it's everything to Evan. Like, it is everything. He literally said, I better win.
But how kind of calm and cool was he beforehand? We haven't seen so much of it. He's definitely evolving.
His game is so much stronger.
We've all spoken about his...
He went back.
Yeah, you guys went backstage. It was a bit strange. It was a bit strange.
I thought like just the day before seeing him, he looked a lot calmer, a lot more.
Day before was okay. Yeah. But him at first day of heats at Worlds, it was actually quite good, I thought. And then this one, maybe he allowed himself to get a bit more amped up, but it seems like he was swinging a bit, and then he hit his head hard off the stone platform. Yeah, logs as well, but stone platform before the end. Then I'm like, it works for him. It does.
It works, but and I think in a one-day show, it's not an issue at all. Yeah, it's more of an issue in the longer shows.
Yeah, and I am equally disappointed how I lost and happy for Evan that he won. Yeah, because I consider Evan a friend of mine, and I think Evan would only want to win if I was at my best as well, and I was giving a full effort. Yeah. And he came over after the stones, and you can see in someone's face if they're genuine or not. And first thing was like, what happened? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Thinking like I might have done a bicep or something. And yeah, that's just how the sport is. So yeah, hats off to him.
It's such a great sport in that respect.
Bonnie, big fan of Mitchell, big fan of Liz, big fan of Lars. We're a big fan of you. Toby, members comment, watching from Portugal, very sunburnt, great comp. Having a lovely holiday. Lily, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Loz, Liz, and Mitch. I did second comp last week and lost again, but I PR'd on every event. I'm so grateful to be able to push myself to my limits and actually push through them. Thank you guys for being so inspiring.
I certainly wouldn't see that as a loss, Lily. You just said you PR'd on every event. That's awesome to see. You know, we said in our seminar today, it's all about self-improvement, about you getting better. And if you're enjoying it and you're getting better, positioning doesn't matter. Just go away, keep learning from it, have fun with it. Looks like you did, and you went and smashed some PBs. Next time, go and do the same. Those results will start creeping up eventually in terms of positioning. But as long as you're having fun with it, as long as you're getting better, that's all that matters.
Why do Giants live shows start so late? They're an evening show. They used to be done in the daytime. They used to be done like 12 p.m. till 5 p.m. And like, I get it as an evening show, but to be honest, I like the daytime ones because then afterwards we can all go have dinner and then, you know, get changed, have a shower, go out, have a drink. We used to do that, didn't we?
Yeah. They used to
we all get back and everyone collapses.
Yeah. After the meet and greet, it's midnight when you get back, and it's pretty tiring.
Yeah. It skipped, and
we got Justin O'Brien. Hey Mitch, can you give a shout out to my wife Cindy? We went to Wales for the birthday. An amazing time. Congratulations on the baby.
Yeah, Cindy, thank you very much for supporting Strongman. I hope you enjoyed yourself at Worlds, and hope to see you at another show.
There you go. Hip flipping mama. Mitchell, you really gained my respect when you were clearly disappointed in your Stones performance, but you still congratulated your competitors. Nicely done. You have my respect, sir.
I saw some stuff because it's always interesting to me, and it's becoming less and less impactful in terms of what people say, more just general interest. But it's always interesting how you're interpreted in terms of your behavior after a show. Do you know, after I lost the Stones, I raised Evan's hands. I don't think that was shown on the live stream, so I think some people thought that
it's on my behind the sscenes, which you'll see tomorrow at 4 p.m. on Big Loz Official.
And then some people said that I walked off the podium early or something. I don't know, and I wasn't.
It's amazing what people pick up.
It's crazy, yeah.
And you don't even think about it yourself.
Yeah.
No, and like naturally you're disappointed because you're out there to win and things didn't go to plan. But it's for me, that stuff's always limited to 10, 15 minutes. And then, I had such a blast talking to everyone.
I think in general, though, it's a very small percentage with these kind of, they're looking to kind of, for the majority of genuine strongman fans.
Do you know what? It was almost exactly like Europe's Strongest Man, where Alexei had the same sort of issue as Mitch did on the Stones, really disappointed for a moment, raised Pablo's hand then as the champion, and we all got on with our lives.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, God, if you want to see disappointment, I can show you some podiums to look out for, some fucking miserable faces on here. Slide into my DMs. But also don't.
We got another super chat here from Gareth.
Thank you for the super chat first of Gareth. My God. Goodness me.
Hey guys, my son is 99.5 kilograms. He wants to get into strongman. I say he needs to work on his bench, deadlift, and squat. What weight do you recommend before moving into strongman training?
Like what?
But these questions cannot be answered.
Yeah,
the questions of when can I do this? When can I compete? Am I strong enough? Is this good? It's also individual. But the way I think of strongman is push, pull, squat, hinge, overhead press, and carry, which I hope he's doing as a normal functioning member of society. The question I think is more to do with how intense do you push him? And if he's 99.5 kilos and he's just a massive 12-year-old or something, then maybe just getting into the gym for a bit of fun is a good shout. But if he's 18 or 20 and really wants to give it a crack, then I don't see a reason.
Yeah, you kind of need a little bit more info to kind of give an accurate answer based on an individual. But let's say he's in his 20s and he's 99 kilos and his strength is at a decent level, then he can compete, And
there's actually a big risk of, I think powerlifting is a good foray into strongman for people who don't have high kinesthetic awareness and haven't played a lot of sport. But there's a flip side to that where you see a lot of high-level powerlifters who build up a lot of strength before learning technique on any of the strongman implements, and then they're an injury risk to themselves for that. So it's really a catch-22.
I think making sure you're focusing on the powerlifting movements plus overhead plus movement, being moving and just being athletic in general is always very beneficial. You look at most top strongmen, like a large percentage have come from sports backgrounds. And just being a good athlete tends to go a long, long way.
And we have nearly 1,000 people live with us. If you haven't done so already, if you could hit the like button, it helps us massively. We never expect super chats or anything like that. But if you could give us a like, it's
give us a like and subscribe to the channel, guys, if you aren't already. And go and subscribe to Mr. Hooper's channel as well.
Please do.
Yeah. Simon, thank you for the super chat. Did I hear it right that event winners get awarded money? If true, that's a great incentive for the guys to keep fighting.
It was a new thing yesterday, wasn't it?
It was quite nice.
It was a good one because they've always had prize money for world records.
World records, yeah.
I say always in the last few years.
Yeah.
But yesterday they decided they were going to give a prize to every individual winner of an event. So for the athletes that maybe weren't going to be fighting out for the top 3 positions, but were really good at a certain event, it gave them a big incentive to keep trying as well. So it was a nice little extra, I think, for a lot of the guys.
How do you feel about that stuff being talked about?
I have no issues with it in the slightest.
You
I know you hate
don't
it.
You?
Yeah, Mitch doesn't like people knowing what the prize money is. I like it because it's so much better than when I was competing, and I want it to keep growing and the sport to get where, because we all know footballers, for instance, are paid huge money, or tennis players earn great money.
This is the thing, right? Okay, so the way I think of it is, if someone's a friend of mine, I'm more than happy to share everything.
Sure.
I'm not private like that. I don't care. But, and I would tell any athlete what a sponsor pays me, and because I think the athlete should be aware of that. But when it comes to strongman, and we're not athletes making millions of dollars a year, where if we know someone plays in the NFL or they play Premier League soccer, you don't view them in a different light if they earn $6 million or $12 million a year. You're more interested in the salary cap of the team and what the impact of that is. But for us, when I have a business and I have people working for me who then know how much money I make outside of that business, and then I have people who work for me within the strongman business, then it's really difficult to
nothing to do with them.
But for everyone to know all of your financial business when it's not already assumed that you're very well off, I think it's private information.
But isn't transparency in prize money quite normal in other pro sports?
Yes, but in other pro sports, it's stuff
they're earning a lot more.
You wouldn't view someone in a different light if they earn 3 or 5 million. It's the same. But for us, if you win worlds and you win say 75 grand, or you come 5th and you earn 10 grand, 75 grand doesn't change a thing. No. It's very helpful. It's really nice. You might be able to afford one more thing, but it doesn't move you into a different social class.
And also, you have to pay tax on top of that.
Of course,
there's a lot of the money in strongman. And I have a different approach to it than yourself. I actually like that. I like promoters to be transparent about it, because some are very sneaky. And they try to make out that they're not
screwed guys.
A lot of athletes in the past, myself included, have been screwed over. Whereas now you've got people like Giants Live saying this is what the prize money is, and they pay it straight away.
Literally day after.
Giants Live are probably the fastest paying promoters out there in terms of how quick you'll get your money from them. And look, the prize money it drops very quickly in terms of if you come, the difference between 1st and 4th is massive. If you're bottom of the table, you might go away with 500 or 1,000 pounds, something like that.
But let's say if you have a very good year in strongman, you'll make a few $100,000 in prize money, and if you don't have a great year, you might make 5,000 or 10,000. It's closer to a normal job than any other sport. I don't see a different argument to say why doesn't an employer post up how much everyone's paid in light of let's make sure everyone's getting paid fairly. Why shouldn't everyone's salaries be plastered up at the front of the building?
If you're a smart strongman, though, that would just be one part.
Prize money has to be the smallest factor of what you're trying to.
Yes,
because prize money isn't a guaranteed thing as well.
But my point is,
he's getting annoyed with us.
I'd be interested to see what you guys think, because obviously Mitch has a thought process about. I'm from a different generation where I want that transparency because I want.
Well, he wants people to know they're only paying him $1,000.
Well, not just that, but like I want promoters to think I can't get away because I've seen this promoters that say just pay them $500. You can't do that if now there's these other companies saying, well, no, these guys are worth paying decent money. So it makes those other companies have to raise their level, and then you kind of.
You guys can have your. I'd love to know. Feel free to put it out there, but also think of it.
Voting system.
Also think of it in the light of how comfortable would you be putting your salary out there to strangers?
But you're not putting your salary out.
If you were no,
you're not.
In a way,
it's a
you're
fraction. Percentage of your earnings.
I think you want it out there because.
All right. Let me ask you this then. Right, you never compete again.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so just take away that you are a pro athlete in terms of strongman. Or look at other sports. Like, do you think tennis players shouldn't, or a tennis tournament shouldn't put what their prize money is for, say, Wimbledon? Wimbledon put out the prize money straight from the start. So you can go online and you can see the prize breakdown for every single position.
Uh-huh.
The fact that athlete that loses in the first round
gets 20 grand.
Well, maybe more than that. But then they've got all their taxes to pay. They've got their team to pay through that. There's a lot as an athlete that you don't get that 20 grand. You know, there's a whole process that your business has to go through to, you know, firstly the tax in the country that you're in, the tax in your own home country. There's expenses from all that.
I feel like this conversation could go on all night, and we should probably start moving on because
I just find it interesting to why you're so against it.
Because I don't think when we're in the realm of normal, reasonable salaries that don't make you a multimillionaire, I don't think it's respectful to be sharing how much you make. I understand the competing interest because I do think it's better for the sport for everything to be out there, but I think it's worse for each individual involved. So I understand why you prefer it and why you want the sport to push forward with prize money. But when it affects my life and how people view me and how maybe certain members of my family then think of me because they know how much money I'm making, that's what I don't like. That's what I want to get away from. So I do see the upside, but I also see the downside.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Next, right. So earlier, Laura did a super chat, but it got lost in the void. So technology clearly not my strength. Great show, and congrats to Mitch and Ashley. But is it not time for Kaz and Neil to pass the baton on to Loz and Terry? People but feel the athletes deserve better.
I don't think me and Terry want that job. We're quite happy doing. I'd like to do more of the kind of commentating and analysis stuff with Terry. Or even like a Radzi as well. Radzi's really cool to do that kind of stuff with. But I'm not interested in doing the presenting. But you know, everyone has their. I think Neil's awesome, to be honest. I think Kaz has great insight. I think sometimes Kaz is almost better backstage doing the analysis stuff because he's got such a history of the sport. But I don't know. What do you think? He did interview you yesterday. Okay, should we move on? Okay.
Right. Grimina, thank you for the super chat. Speaking of refereeing, oh God, we got another one. So isn't it time they move on from stopwatches to more sophisticated and precise?
Probably.
What does it cost?
It costs about £500 for one of those laser gate type things.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
I don't think it's not a money barrier. Yeah. Like there's clearly a reason they've chosen.
How are you feeling after last night?
Yeah, we've got Joe Schofield of OS. OS, official strongman. Hi, Joe.
To be honest, I physically I feel fine. My back is a little bit tight and my traps are pretty sore. But I'm really keen to get sucked back into training tomorrow. And I think I'm more motivated to do well at the RAW Classic with how last night went. Not that in any way, I think Evan deserved the win over me. I think he was better than me last night, all things considered. But it certainly makes me very excited to get back and improve because it's just about improving. So I'm, to be honest, I'm hungry to get back onto some Atlas stones and get stuck back into that. And, you know, again, it's so difficult with the push and pull. Maybe when I'm on my trips this time, I make that extra effort to get to a strongman gym regularly. And instead of the conversation with Laws being, let's just do the basic minimum to maintain my strength. Well, let me guarantee that I'll be in a strongman gym twice a week and we can get proper training in. And that's really the challenge. But the cool thing is, Laws through it all. What makes a competent coach is knowing the exercises you should do and periodization and all that. But what makes a really good coach is knowing who you're working with. And Laws has never, even though it takes a personal hit, I don't think I've ever said this to you. We might have to make out after this. even though it takes a personal hit when I have other focuses in my life that definitely make me a worse strongman. And now after winning Worlds, I'm doing things that make me less focused on strongman itself. There's never been pushback at all. It's just been a conversation of what can we manage and what can we do based on the circumstances. And I was talking to, we were chatting, and I think I've been less busy in the last 3-4 weeks than I have been, say, in the lead up to Arnold. It's just that everything I've been doing has been out there, and I haven't had access to a strongman gym. And so those two competing factors, and it's just, my point is, a great coach takes the individual into account and helps get the best out of them given their entire situation. And I think you always say anyone could write my program and I probably would win World Strongest Man, or at least do very, very well, which is probably accurate. But I think a lot of coaches would push me to focus more and try to change the priorities in my life, which is never going to happen. So that's why we are such a good team, I believe.
I thank you.
Kiss.
I think it's important as a coach to put the person first over the results sometimes. And I think with Mitch, I understand that he loves strongman, but he's got other things in his life. And I think it's important to have other things in your life sometimes.
Okay, everyone get ready to screenshot.
Do it.
Ready to screenshot, tag us on Instagram. 3, 2.
First the bath, now this.
It's a good job Ash is over there. Otherwise, people would be really talking.
I'm keeping my baths in private now.
It's actually time I share my bathtub with you guys.
It's 2,500 followers on one post of corn. It's incredible. The level of care is incredible. And shout out to all those people. Well done.
You're a powerlifter. Thank you for the super chat. We need an Alexa montage meeting all the lifters.
Okay. Can we tell Alexa stories?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, they know Alexa.
So my mom's like way over the top, and my mom was very excited to meet Alexa. She was babysitting her during the show. I'm very excited to meet Alexa, and I was very excited. But I'm not, when I'm excited about something, I'm not like jumping around over the top. So I sort of let them do their thing and whatever. I mean, she's a 5-year-old. You don't want to overwhelm them. And Liz says to me, I think it was this morning. It was either last night or this morning.
It was this morning at breakfast.
Alexa, she
asked you what your favorite color is.
No. Before that, it was, do you think you and Mitch are friends? And she goes, I don't think he knows me well enough yet.
Yeah, that's right.
And so this morning, she's like having a hard time asking me something. So she asked me, what's your favorite color? And I said, it's blue. What's yours? And she says, it's pink. Oh, that's awesome. Why do you want to know what my favorite color is? And she goes, so I can get to know you a bit better. Oh my God. It's just like, it just melts your heart. It's like, it makes me so excited for hours to come. And the amount of joy that you'll get from that is just like, I can only imagine. I get so much joy living vicariously through you. And it's actually my own, how much joy it'll get.
You two are going to be the best parents. And then we can be the babysitters. While you were talking just then, a very high profile person from World's Strongest Man slid into my DMs to say that they use... No, not around to say that they use frame by frame video review rather than lasers because it's actually more accurate.
At Worlds, yes. At Giants, is it the same?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
They did actually review something yesterday, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
You
can't see it. I'll tell you after.
And they reviewed Trey's Viking press, didn't they? Because there was an issue with that.
Yeah, they did. But they also did do a review on the yoke last night of Evan and Tom.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, yeah, they did.
Okay.
Just to make sure, yeah.
Cool. There you go, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe the gate's ugly or something and looks crap on TV. I don't know. I don't even know what they look like.
Probably just another tech variable they don't have to worry about, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Jordan says, hey, Mitch, hope I can catch you at the Shaw Classic. You'll be glad to know training with Loz is going great. Good stuff, Jordan. Yeah,
fantastic.
Jordan's from you.
Yeah, mate, 100%. Like I said, I'll have a booth at the Shaw Classic. I think I do my best to be one of the most available athletes to people when
I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah, when we're out and about. People always thank me for taking the time to meet with them and chat with them. Anytime I can do a little something. For example, at Worlds, we went off when it was raining, rain delays. we just went off and I signed some stuff and took some pictures with people waiting. And whenever I can do that stuff, I try to, because in the end, you shouldn't be thanking the athletes for taking a moment to say hello to you. We should be thanking you for coming out. And without you spending the money on the sport, we can't participate in the sport. And so, without all of you, the sport would disappear. Without me, the sport would carry on and continue to grow. So yes, 100% would absolutely love you to come say hello. And also to everyone who sees any of us, just say hello. Please just say hello. Don't be stressed about it.
The amount of times I get messages of people saying, "Oh, I saw you such and such," but I was too scared.
Yeah,
we're a pretty friendly bunch.
Yeah, and the biggest privilege is that just saying hello to someone can make them really happy.
Yeah,
and for
it's
me,
a small thing to do.
Yeah. The bar for making someone's day better is just so low. So if saying hello to us and having a quick chat makes your day better, please feel comfortable to do that.
I think 90%, 95% of the strongmen would be very happy to meet.
It's sort of context dependent, but probably 100%, so long as it's not walking up to an event or something.
There's a time and a place, obviously.
I just want to quickly rattle off a few comments very quickly, because they're about something we were talking about earlier. Hip flipping mama, you raising your hand was on the live stream. I was watching. Mitch lives rent free in so many people's head. A few members of the Reddit weren't happy. I don't know why they got very quickly downvoted. You realize how different Reddit's view is from the rest of the world when you go to the show. From last year's Reddit, you would think people hate Luke, but the cheers for him are insane. And people like to make drama out of nothing. Yeah. It is funny, isn't it?
It's the one thing I do want to sort of address is people like the detractors. And to be honest, that's still something that I have to work on it. And probably my Reddit days are probably over. But the people who interpret my smirk when they're announcing my name and whatnot as smug, I just want you to imagine that you are me standing in one of the most iconic venues in the world with a whole bunch of people cheering for you and yelling your name. And how are you not smiling?
How do you not try and keep that smile?
How are you not so joyful about that? And that's to me, that's really all it is.
Yeah. I mean, I was just trying to get Alexa to her seat, and people were going, Liz, and I was like, should see my silly smoke face. Paris, members comment.
Sorry.
Anyone notice Evan used the ring on the last stone?
Yeah, I did notice that.
Or did he sort of have it like that?
His hands were slipping a bit, and it was just stuck on there, and then he kind of grabbed it and used it. But honestly, I think that was smart of him.
Yeah, it'd be stupid not to be honest.
And Tom did that when he first won Worlds. And when Tom did it when he first won Worlds, you can actually see he stretched the ring right out.
But the thing is, I guarantee they didn't do it on purpose in terms of trying to cheat.
You couldn't plan it.
But having that on your hand, it's almost like a natural reaction. You're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm going with it.
But my final stone at Worlds, to the counterpoint, I had my hand on it and intentionally got my hand off because I didn't want that to be a variable.
Some people, it will put them off and they'll kind of try and fling it off. But I did see it, but I didn't think much of it. I was just like, fair play to Evan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carl has asked us to give a shout out to Charlotte. Charlotte, I hope you are having a great evening.
There we go.
Hello, Charlotte.
Also, we've got Rick Drentz in the chat, and he's gifting memberships to people. So
thank you so much, Rick. Have you got this super chat from Steve E? Can't see.
There's no comment there, so we will keep an eye out for it, Steve.
But thank you for the super chat,
it's
buddy.
Just a nice little picture. Right, let's try and catch up because I promised that we wouldn't keep Mitch for longer than an hour.
I'm fine.
He's had a long day.
No, I'm good.
You had a nap in the car on the way over, didn't you?
I was finding it hard.
Agreed, but I'll move on because Mitch doesn't want me to talk about it.
Eh?
Nothing.
You don't have to pay tax in multiple countries. Just put that out there.
You do sometimes with certain countries. Say I won World's Strongest Man in California. I'd have to pay Californian tax plus tax back in the UK.
You don't have a dual tax treaty?
No.
Can you not open a company in America?
Potentially. Yeah. I could.
Yeah. But thankfully, Canada has dual tax treaties with America and the UK, everywhere in Australia, everywhere I've competed. So it hasn't been an issue for me. And to be honest, the money I've made from Strongman has changed my life, but it's not up to anyone to know that is all my point is really.
It's so funny because no one in the comments can agree either, but I think a really good point made, Toby makes it makes me feel more comfortable as a fan spending money on the sport when I know that the athletes are getting a good chunk.
I think that's good.
Okay,
that's good to hear.
Look, I think
some benefits.
No, I do see the benefit. I do think it's good for the sport for it to be shared. it's just difficult when it can negatively affect you, and it has in ways negatively affected my personal life. So it's sort of it's.
And
is
that from personal friends and family, or just
one in a cup?
That's it's something for after the live stream probably.
Okay.
But yeah,
maybe we
people
could do a
close to me.
podcast about it one day. There we go.
Maybe not recorded at all. Maybe we'll put it on Threads.
Yeah, let's join Threads and put it on there. God. Oh dear. Right. Let's. Tim Lee, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for the great show yesterday. What did you two talk about before the Stones?
What did we talk about before the Stones?
Me and you.
Yeah, we were like,
I don't know.
Don't worry
were
about
we talking about the Stones?
I think Tom went, and it was like, wow, that was incredible.
I think,
and we were like, focus on just trying to get a smooth 5.
I think more has been made of our tactics than needs to be. I think our tactics begin and end at like,
do that.
Someone did 6, go do 7.
Go do 7.
And then like there's certain times where Rauno and Pavlo took off on the deadlift.
There are certain times that we've spoken about a few things. But sometimes more of the tactics comes beforehand, to be honest. Once we're at a competition, he should be focused on and know what he's doing. But as an athlete, occasionally I might say something, but you've got to be careful as well not to say too much as a coach when you're in that situation, because you should be in the zone at that point.
I'm not. No, I'm not like that.
I know,
but there's certain circumstances where Rauno and Pavlo do massive reps on the deadlift. So
it'd be like, don't be that. Try and get second.
If you ever see Laws and I chatting at a competition, I'm going to say it's a 50% chance we're talking about anything to do with performance in the competition, and 50% talking about something funny that's happened or talking shit about something else. For me, that's what I need to do. That's what I like to do.
With Mitch, there's no point in kind of just getting like him psyched up and focused and in that zone. He likes to just be chilled, and then when it's time to switch on just before you go, you go and do what you got to do.
If you had reaction if someone started slapping him, what the hell?
If you had a heart rate, this is I think it would be an interesting actually insight. If you had a heart rate monitor on me, I think I could go from a resting heart rate to 160 beats per minute just on pure emotion relating directly to the event about to happen, say 3 seconds before the whistle goes. Where other guys, I bet it creeps slower. And so they need a few extra things to sort of get them right into the zone. Yeah. I just never have an issue doing that.
It's quite funny because I've seen so many comments about our tactics and stuff like that. There's not a huge amount of tactics. There is occasionally things that we'll discuss.
Yeah.
And there might be a situation where we're like, right, we're going to focus on this, or Mitch will suggest something and I'll suggest something different. And that might be, it doesn't mean I'm right or he's wrong. Sometimes it's literally just a matter of an opinion, and then we'll kind of figure out between us what we think is the best way to go about something.
So yesterday it was nickel stones. Eddie
you wanted to use tape on the nickel stones as well.
yeah. And then I sort of try and think of a way to
to not hurt.
But it was like our tactics are literally like Eddie's done 33, Evan did 24, and you got how far are you going? I said I'd love to try and beat Eddie. That'd be great, but I guess we'll see. It's like, well, beat Evan, and if it feels good, keep going. And like, that is a lot. Please, to everyone out there, that is world's strongest man level tactics. If you're competing in a novice show, just go do your best.
Yeah,
don't.
This is what I wanted to say, because like we do sometimes have some tactics, and it might be, and the better an athlete is, the easier it is to have tactics. A lower level athlete, I get some athletes that want to ring me and have a chat about the tactics for their novice comp coming up on Sunday, and I'm like, focus on one event at a time, have fun, do the best you can, and they think, they're trying to overthink it, but that's literally all you need to do.
Yeah,
you don't need to overthink it that much. If an event is way too heavy for you, don't try it. Is probably my best advice. But for most athletes, you're going to be good enough.
Yeah,
and then it's literally one event at a time. Do the best that you can on that event, and then move on from it, regardless of how it goes.
And tactics are only useful if you are one of the best in the field and you know everyone else in the field.
Yeah, and
which
tactics evolve during a competition.
Yes,
because it depends how everything goes in that competition. You're going to start off event 1, you want to do the best you can,
of course,
and then say Mitch Hooper gets to last on the deadlift. You're going to do 7 reps because that's what you needed to do. There was no need to do more than that.
Yeah.
If you had to do 8, we would have done 8. you know, if it's world's strongest man and you had to go first, you do as many as you can.
Here's an interesting one. So yesterday, deadlift 360, I hit 7. I think we could all agree I was probably good for 9 if I had to.
Yeah.
That was 10 kilos heavier than Pavlo's untouchable 11.
It's a harder deadlift, definitely.
That's interesting.
What do you reckon? It'd be close.
Yeah,
You won the deadlift of world's strongest man, which was unbelievable.
Yeah.
That deadlift
close.
But you would have to do it for me to say, yeah, you're good for that.
But we like to keep Mitch pushing. We can't just tell him.
We don't like to give him too big a head. Aaron,
I agree with this.
Super chat,
I agree with this from Cameron. Prize money, yes. Sponsorship money, no.
Interesting. But can we?
Yes. Sorry.
Just behave, because you two are going off on tangents. Right, Aaron, thank you for the super chat.
Aaron Nielsen, is it?
Yes. Nelson. I'm a public university professor. My salary is public. I've had students look at it, and I understand Hoop's position. Yeah. But it's good for state accountability.
Yeah, did you see this one from Tim as well?
Yep, that was ages ago. That was what you two were just talking about. Yeah, what were you talking about before the stone off? That was 20 minutes ago. You started talking about tactics. Jesus Christ.
I thought you asked about tactics.
No, you two went off on a tangent. I saw an interesting one from Matty. Mitch, how fast could you do the 1,000-pound yoke if it was the first event? Do you feel that its place in the competition changes your performance? No? Do you think it'd be the same?
No, well, the faster you go with the yoke, the more risk you're taking in dropping it. And after I saw the times before me, I knew that I didn't have to go I didn't have to push myself outside of my comfort zone.
What did we talk about before that? Before the yoke, what did we talk about?
Sub 10?
Yeah, I said sub 10. What did you say?
Sub 8.
Sub 8 would have been really good. Yeah.
And that's pretty much kind of the thought process. Mitch can go faster than the sub 10.
Yeah.
But there is a risk to then trying to go too fast.
Yeah, because it's a big balancing act. So I think sub 8 is one of those goals that I set for myself. That's a very, very lofty and would be a huge accomplishment to hit it. But that's where my mind goes first. I probably, if I pushed yesterday, could have been sub 9. But I think it's an inverse correlation between how fast you go and the risk of dropping it.
Yeah. Super chat from Joe. Tips to prevent injury on first strongman program. Don't lift too heavy.
Yeah, don't start too heavy, and then make sure it's progressed in a way that's not too high or too low. Generally speaking, 2 to 5% progressions week over week is reasonable. And the only time that falls apart is if you start your block at an RPE 8 or 9 and you try to push that on for several weeks. So yeah, just understand you don't know what you're doing and don't pretend you do in the first 4 weeks, and just take it nice and slow.
Whatever you think you should be lifting, lift less for those first few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
How hot was it in the arena yesterday? Bloody boiling.
It was hot.
Uh-huh.
Someone says, Lizzie, check Instagram.
I can't check Instagram and keep my thumb on this to stop it from disappearing. So sorry, I'll have to check it later. I've lost it now by turning the phone.
Joe, is it again?
Go on. I'm proud of something. One Coach Luke. There we go.
Which was by far the most available athlete at World's Strongest Man. Big C and Luke Saltman was as well. There you go.
Luke's really good for that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, Luke's the best.
Yeah.
And Zadrunas, obviously, but Zadrunas not a competitor anymore.
Super chat from Joe. Possible to be a pro without PEDs in a weight class? 100%.
Yes, I know pros that are drug-free.
What do you think pro is?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Pro is a very good question, because you can be pro but still have a full-time job.
Let's crush some dreams. You will not be a full-time strongman without him.
Without
creatine.
Without creatine.
Without a big stack of creatine. No, small stack.
You'd agree?
I don't know. Creatine. No, I like creatine.
But could you be a pro-level strongman without?
I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
I was going to say, I think he's actually talking about creatine. I think we should just move on. It's not worth it for a £2 super chat. No offense, Joe. It's just we've fallen quite far behind, and these two can go off on tangents, as you know. But
that is literally what we're here to do, Lizzie.
I know that's great. But as someone who's here to manage the flow,
here's a super chat from Michael. Is prize money public, sponsorship and appearance fee private.
Bo Cashman, a member for 2 months, saying hello everyone, congrats on a podium finish. Mitch, another podium
Martins
finish.
Is here. Where's Martins? Martins Ulysses, look at that.
Oh, there you go. This is not my normal night routine. There you go. Is it even nighttime there? Oh, it depends where in the world he is.
Martins
Right
is coming over, isn't he?
Where is he?
Yeah.
I just saw something from him.
It was
the coolest thing. No, he's in
Martins, where are you right now?
He's somewhere in Europe right now, and it was the world's largest choir. It looks so cool. It was like thousands of people.
We love Martins and Romark.
And we're going to see them next month up in Scotland, I think. So that would be lots and lots of fun.
I like this one.
Martins. Everyone's excited to see Martins here. He's here. He's there. He's every clucking where. Oh, dear.
The whole chat has just gone nuts with Martins.
Yeah.
That's what happens when someone kind of dives in.
Someone frustrated. I love frustrated Liz. Loz doesn't love frustrated Liz, so it's a good job you do, Sam. Thank
Someone
you.
has to love frustrated Liz.
Yeah.
Bo, did we do this one from Bo?
I did do Bo. Oh no, that Bo's super chat. Thank you, Bo. It's been a while since I was able to catch a live from you two. I was at work yesterday and couldn't catch the competition. Tell us how you really feel about Kaz, Mitch. Bo, no, they were a peace and love community over here. Care to elaborate? Sorry, I didn't tactically kick you then. That my foot twitched.
I don't dislike Kaz in any way as a person. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know him that well as a person, to be fair. But I've never had anything but good personal interactions with him.
I like this one.
Thank you so much, Rick, for gifting more memberships.
Jane, had you planned to jump onto the stage, Mitch, or did you just walk up in the middle by mistake and just went for it?
Yeah,
that was a hell of a jump. Me and Terry were we were looking at it, that was pretty good.
Tell them how it came about.
They told me walk down the middle because that's a cool moment. Fine. Then I jumped onto the stage and they said, please don't do that. And, just if it doesn't go well, it's not a good look. I said, that's twice the reason why I'm going to do it. I shit you not. I jumped onto the stage. And then when I jumped, like that calf extension, the heat and the sweat, my calf actually cramped pretty bad. I'm like, oh, please no.
Oh, no. Can you imagine?
Apparently Martins is in Latvia.
Oh, there you go.
Makes sense.
Cool.
Everyone, go check out, don't leave the stream, but go check out the choir that Martin saw today. I think it was on his stories, but cool. It's just hectic.
Auntie Liz, how are you feeling amongst two alpha bold men?
I'm not. Would you say you're alpha?
Me?
Yeah.
Would you say I'm alpha?
I'd say you're more bold than alpha.
I think
I feel at home.
I'm definitely competitive. Yeah.
But do you feel the need that you need to prove you're more manly than other people?
No,
not at all.
Not at all. I'm pretty confident.
We know you don't from that bath picture.
Yeah.
If there was any doubt. Yeah.
I have this aura of I know.
Oh dear. I know. Sorry,
I don't need to prove nothing.
It's like feeling the need to prove is the sign of a lack of confidence and lots of insecurity. In my eyes.
There we go. What's the time?
Right,
We'll
it is
start
12
to wrap
past.
it up.
I think we should wrap up now because we've caught up with all the super chats, all the member chats. Thank you so much, Rick, for being so generous and gifting memberships. Mitch has seen something he likes the look of. Real talk, Mitch, being that you're essentially a novice. Where is your head at after confirming you're the best in the world? It's out about here.
I clicked because I thought I was reading it wrong, but I don't think I am.
No.
They're saying I'm a novice.
Wow.
I think what he means is in terms
how do you
of
define
the
pro, novice, everything else? You're inexperienced compared to some of the guys, but
I am in a way, sure, but I don't know. Evan might have 12 months on me.
Evan's been doing it for longer than you.
Yeah, by 12 months, maybe. Yeah, I think there's a few people. I think it's just what I came from was so different that's sort of the.
Evan's been competing since 2018, I believe.
Right. Okay. I just think I've trained the physical characteristics to be a strongman for a very long time. It's just some of the actual things about strongman that I get hung up on stupid things like a bad stone or attack issue or not having touched an implement before. So it's exciting to think where things could go in the next few years if we continue.
In terms of competition experience, Mitch is still relatively new when you compare him to some other athletes that have competed so often. But in terms of being an athlete, Mitch has been an athlete since, probably the age of 3.
How many guys in the show yesterday would have been on 10 podiums this far in their career?
None of them.
So
yeah.
I mean, experience. My experience of just shows, full stop, maybe less, but my experience of being in the lead or coming back from a deficit, or I've had more experiences about winning than a lot of people have.
No,
something both Mitch and myself agree with in terms of if anyone's like getting into sport, doing sport and being competitive is going to go a long way to being an advantage in terms of you being a good strongman or being good at anything. Because firstly, you learn how to compete, which is I know plenty of strong men that are bad when it comes to competition because they don't know how to compete and how to dig deep. So it's not always just a matter of, I think a lot of people mistake strongman because of the name. They're like strongman,
it's just about static strength.
But there's so many facets to strongman and so many different traits that you need as an athlete to be successful at it. And if you've got that competitive background, it's going to take you half the way there already.
There you go.
I would say a good athlete, when you look at some of the top athletes in different sports, a lot of them could transition to lots of different sports. Their incredible genetics will then allow them to kind of train for something different.
If you took all the guys in the NFL and all the linemen from the NFL, you put them in strongman, it would be things get shaken up. A lot.
They are some freaky dudes in there. Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed another Strongman Sunday.
We've got to get up early in the morning, haven't we? Because we're going to a water park and we're very excited. I was like, Mitch, what do you guys want to do when you're over? And he's like, imagine you're planning for an excited 12-year-old. I'm like, yes. Oh, we're going to go to a water park. We're going bowling, maybe a theme park. I don't know. So I'm like an excited 12-year-old too. So we're going to have lots of fun, but thank you everyone for joining us. We're going to be filming in the gym on Tuesday as well, so there'll be more Mitch content this week.
Take care, guys. We'll catch you soon.
Everyone smile and wave. You'll have to press the button, Lottie. We'll smile and wave.